Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tom from A Comic Book Look. I just went to the comic shop today, and I'm ready to hit those reviews super hard. These comics are for May 10th, 2017, and I'm coming straight from the Dome because I just finished reading them. I hope you're on board.
Yeah, you just hit the jackpot. Riding real clean, keep $1 million in the stash box. Mashing with this hustle, cause nothing's off the juggernaut. Known to murder beats.
Alright, first up, I want to say that, I'm at a point right now where I've talked about in a couple different episodes that I am all the way caught up on my comics. I have been steadily buying 3 comics a month, sometimes less, a lot less, because 2 of them are Saga and Lazarus. So with those comics, it's easy to catch up. But now when I go in there, I'm looking to find something else to get onto. And so I've been paying more attention. I've been listening to Wednesday Comics, the podcast, my new favorite podcast, shout out. And, they've been helping me, and I started listening to iFanboy again, the podcast, and, it's been great to listen to those guys after like a 5-year hiatus of me not listening. And so it makes me want to read these new comics right away. So that's why I'm going to give you these reviews on the day I bought these, straight after I read them. So first off, I'm just going to jump into a new series because I'm looking for new stuff, as you know. And DC Young Animal imprint. That's something that Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance, he's a comic book guy as well. He put this thing together. I don't really know what it is. But you see Lee Allred, Michael Allred, Laura Allred right on the cover. Everybody's favorite Mormons. And I'm in because I love Mike Allred. You guys know that before. I have no idea who Bug is. This is Paul Pope. This cover, though, so I was definitely going to get that because I love Paul Pope. Just recently learned to love him from this Batman stuff I read. Well, anyway, so I jump right in this, and the art is beautiful. And this main character, Bug Guy, he's talking to all these guys that are definitely Kirby-inspired characters. I can tell they're Kirby characters. And it's really weird, and apparently that first page is a dream. He wakes up, he's from a cocoon, he's in some weird basement. He goes through, there's this weird ghost person. It's very odd and out there, and there's always these like smart quips trying to like hit you all the time, which I don't know. I guess it needs it for this tone of comic that it is, and it fits the art. But I don't know. The story was really weird. He was sleeping, but he wasn't sleeping. He met the old school Sandman from the DC universe. He was woken up, a girl with dominoes. I'm just kind of like flipping up here. It's all like him not wanting to be a domino, not wanting to line up with everybody else and fall in place. And they question, like, are you a rebel if you just do the opposite of what you're told? Because then you're just being just as controlled because they can just tell you the opposite of what they want or whatever. So there's all these deep thinking thoughts that, like I've said before, people in high school and thereafter are really into that kind of shit. Same kind of My Chemical Romance emo stuff. But, I don't know anything about Lee Allred. I've never read anything else, I don't think. Laura Allred, she's on because she does the colors. And her and Mike Allred are on par. I mean, there's a bunch of cool panels. The art ends up being, like, by far the best part. So then they made a bunch of these weird characters that I assume are Kirby-esque. And, it's a #1 issue. It's my first time reading anything in this Young Animals. Apparently in the back letter it says that Young Animals has been going on for, over a year. I don't even know what it is. Somebody explain it to me in the comments. What is Young Animals? Am I going to pick up #2? No. How many beers out of this? Art, 6 out of 6. Story, I guess, goofy, 3 out of 6. Because I ended up feeling that way all the way through. Whole thing, 3.5 beers. Will I pick up #2? No, probably not. I mean, unless it's a super slow. No, I'm not going to. Definitely not. So that brings me to my next one. And we're going into another number one, looking for those new series. So we have Regression. This is from Image Comics, Cullen Bunn, which we'll hear from more later. This is a number one, and it's fucking gross and creepy. And so I kind of like that. It starts out with a guy who's hallucinating that like everybody's faces bugs are coming out and people's bugs are just shooting out everywhere. And then he like tells his friend that he's hallucinating. She's gonna help him, and she takes him to a hypnotist who's at a comedy club. He thinks it's a joke. They end up, he's like all about regression, going into your past lives. And then it gets like fucking crazy because it looks like his past life was some sort of crazy killer. And this is like when he gets hypnotized, was this beautiful spread right here, right in the middle. And our main character, clearly something happened in his past life where when he was this other person, he was a terrible, terrible person. And he's starting to feel like the effects of this guy. And then when this happens, he wakes up the next morning feeling all weird, tries to call the psychiatrist, and then it gets real fucked up because that guy who's on his life like shows up and then is there, and that's just like a part of him. And then so he tries to call a psychiatrist right away, and I'm going to spoil it right now just because I would like you guys to pick this up, and it becomes such an interesting opening. So this is Regression number one. I know this is super new, so please, I'm going to give you just 15 seconds, close your eyes, starting now. This is the hypnotist at the end. They straight up murder him. So clearly the guy who's his second partner like came out of here, and you can see footprints coming out of there. So like killed this hypnotist and through here. Hopefully that was less than 15 seconds. I don't know. It's got to be close in there. But, this symbol seems to have a part in it. It's definitely a weird, dark book. Cullen Bunn's writing is very good, and I love the art. There's, just everybody looks so unique. It's like they did almost take pictures and then, really get a good feeling of what these people look like. But, I mean, I know that's not the case because we have, blueprints on how it was all drawn in the back, and this is our main person, Adrian. Yo, Adrian! And, but otherwise, definitely I'm going to pick up the next issue. 5 out of 6 beers all the way through. Definitely think you should pick it out. Check it out. Nice work, Cullen Bunn. So now, what could these be? We are going to get into something that I haven't done in a long time. Read X-Men. Are you kidding me? I need some new things to pick up. How many times am I going to fucking say that? Anyway. I'm picking up X-Men. So I wanted to go with one. I listened to Wednesday Comics. I listened to iFanboy, and it seemed like out of the two, X-Men Gold and X-Men Blue seemed to be a little bit better. So X-Men Blue 3 came out today, and I decided to just pick up the last two as well. And so I picked up 1 and 2, and I read all 3 of them just now. So what basically is going on is the original 5, Jean Grey, Cyclops, Beast, Iceman, and who's the other one? Who am I missing? Angel. Everybody forgets about him. He doesn't ride in the plane, so don't see him in a lot of scenes. Because he flies himself. They are the original 5 young kids taken back from some other dimension that are timeline that I don't know because I haven't read X-Men in a long time, even though it was my bread and butter. So now they are ripped out of there, and they're all young. And the guy who is the artist, Jorge Molina, he is so good at making these young kids feel young, which is so important to me, which rarely happens. Everybody looks the same age, 28 to 33. So that's really awesome. And then it shows them having to try to work together. They're ripped out of their own timeline. They don't talk about it too much, and I assume I know that people had complained in the past that that they were talking about it too much. I don't. As somebody jumping in, it's like maybe they should talk a little bit more because I don't know anything that's going on, but I don't need to because I know these characters very well. They're jumping in and they're jumping into a continuity and meeting Magneto where Magneto is in the same continuity as us, and they're just meeting him thinking he's terrible, and we know he's terrible, but once again he tricks them into working for him, and he probably has some sinister plan. And that's in the first one. But then that brings us, and the second one was okay, first one was okay, but then the third one was really kind of fun. And the reason that it was fun is because we got this super cool fight with Sentinels, who they just like totally lose, but they're like friendly Sentinels, and it turns out that Bastion is actually like controlling these Sentinels, and they trick him into, or Bastion's trying to become their friend, saying I'm good, and it's like, no fucking way, nobody's believing him. They just are trusting Magneto, or they can trust Bastion now. Everybody's like, how many bad guys are you gonna trust? And it ends up being kind of like fun. And then at the end, Jean Grey and Hank trick him into, you know, letting him know that he's still gonna be a fucking dickwad. So they fight him, and it's a great comic. It's classic X-Men. It feels like the X-Men. I can tell that, you know, this is, you know, kind of a gimmick because it's this alternate version of the original 5, and they're young again, but it's fun. And the only main difference is Beast is now trying to be a mystic, so he's also like magical. He like sends somebody through hell into Siberia, and so it's definitely weird. And then when they fight Bastion, I'm not going to spoil this one, but you know, you can tell that it's going to be a fun run, and I think we're going to see him again. So X-Men Blue, while not perfect, I definitely had a great time. So I'm very biased, and I'm going to give it 6 out of 6 beers. Give it that perfect score, because anything that was not perfect, I was elated of reading X-Men again for the first time in well over 2 years, maybe, where I haven't picked up a new monthly X-Men. So definitely excited to check out more. Well, anyway, guys, that's what I read this week. I picked up After Death as well, but I just haven't read it yet. It was so big, I wanted to sit with it and feel it. Hold on one sec, I'll show you. Get my Rainbow comic bag. And I pick all these up at Rainbow Comics in Sioux Falls, but if you're in Lincoln, check that one out too. But this is at that Scott Snyder and Jeff Lemire, number 3, After Death. But there is usually a lot of prose and stuff, so I wanted to sit down and actually read maybe all 3, because I burned through the first 2, and I would say at this point I didn't like it. So these are 2 of my favorite creators, so I should love it. So I'm going to sit down and reread and actually read everything through slowly, really take it in. You know, maybe smoke a bowl, and then this is, you know, later this week. Maybe I'll talk about it in the next video. But I'm going to try to do this weekly, and hopefully every once in a while I'll get and someone else besides, you know, Skylar. Skylar's behind the camera. No, don't hit stop yet. Besides Skylar to come and help. And, you know, I do miss John, Ken, Mike, and pretty soon we'll see Mark coming. So, all right, guys. And as John always says, keep it comics. See you next Wednesday.